Hi guys, and first of all, Happy New Year! I hope 2022 has been treating you well so far, and once again I want to thank for all the incredible support that you have shown to my channel in 2021. Back when I started it, I would have never thought that in less than 1 year I will reach over 1,000 subscribers, and it's just what gets me out of bed every morning. There are many exciting plans for my small business this year, and I can't wait to share them with you soon. So if you've been enjoying my videos so far and you're not subscribed yet, it's high time to do it right now. I will of course continue publishing videos about polymer clay, highly requested pixel macrame and landscape macrame tutorials, and there will be many more beading videos. Today I want to start with one of them. In today's video I will teach you how to make this minimal beaded ring. I'm using Miyuki Beads number 10 in 3 different colors. My beading thread is from Fireline. Otherwise you will need a needle and a stopper bead. I start by picking 3 white beads. I bring them down to the stopper bead and put my needle through the bead which is closest to the stopper bead. You should get a triangle-like shape consisting of 3 beads. Hold it so that the 2 beads are at the bottom and pick 1 more white bead on your needle. Put your needle through the bottom right bead. Pick up 1 more white bead and this time go through the top right bead. In this way, you're creating the first 2 rows of the ring. By extending the length of this chain of beads, you are working on the circumference of your future ring. Since our ring is a closed circle that doesn't really have the beginning or the end, it doesn't really matter in which place you start adding pink beads for the flower. I decided to add mine right at the start. When it's time to add a bead in the top row again, I pick 1 pink bead. Like before, my needle goes into the bottom right bead. Then I pick a white bead and add it to the bottom row. In the next step, another pink bead is added to the top row. and another white bead to the bottom row. That was it for the flower part in these two rows, and we can continue adding white beads to both rows until the end of the chain. As you go, you can measure the chain on your finger to see how much is left. Keep in mind that as we add the next rows, the ring will get tighter. So at this point it should sit comfortably loose on your finger. Another important moment is that in order to close the ring, it needs to end with the bead in the opposite row to the one it started from. So if your ring starts from the top left bead, it needs to end with the bottom right bead. To close the ring, grab it comfortably as shown in the video. Next, put your needle through the first bead of your chain and the last bead of your chain. Pull the thread tightly. Next, put your needle through the neighboring bead in the bottom row. Make sure to not loop around the loose end, just like I did. Find the bead in the top row, which is closest to the one where the thread is coming out from, and put your needle through it. Now flip it so the pink beads are in the top row. That's the correct orientation of our ring, so we need to return back up through neighboring beads. This time we are going to put our needle through the loops created between the beads of the previous row. It doesn't really matter in which direction you go, so I'm going to show this row in the right direction and the following row in the left direction. I start by picking up two white beads. Next I find the second loop to the right from where my thread is coming out. I then return my needle back up through the right bead. As you can see, it snaps in place nicely, but the left bead is still not aligned. So I put my needle down through it and back up through the right bead. In this way, the starting beads are aligned to each other. Next, I'm going to bead one bead at a time into each of the following loops. But since I reached the flower part, I'm going to pick a pink bead. Like before, I put my needle through the loop in between beads of the previous row. I then return my needle up through the current bead. It snaps in place right away, so there is nothing else to do here. The next bead will be the center of my flower, so I'm going to make it gold. I again put my needle through the loop in between beads of the previous row and return my needle back up through the golden bead. One more pink bead to finish off the flower part in this row. Next, I will continue adding white beads until the end of the row. The principle stays the same. Add one bead at a time. Make sure you don't get tangled. I will meet you at the end of the row to show you how to close up the ring. Now I have one more white bead to add in this row. Like before, I pick up a white bead, put my needle through the loop and return my needle back up through the current bead. To close off the ring, I need to go down through the first bead of this row and return back up through the last bead. Now the ring is all closed and you can't really find the beginning anymore. In the next row, I'm going to go in the left direction. I pick up two white beads and find the second loop on the left from where my thread is coming out. This time I go through the left bead first, snap it in place, then put my needle down through the right bead and back up through the left bead. Pull the thread tight so that beads snap in place. Next I will add one bead at a time, moving in the left direction. I'm going to add white beads until I reach the flower part. I need to add the last 2 pink beads positioned in between the pink and gold beads of the previous row. I then add the last few white beads of this row. And to close it off, I put my needle down through the first bead of the row and back up through the last bead. Row number 4 is now closed off, so we can move on to the last row. The last row is going to consist of white beads only. Once I add the last bead of the row, it's time to hide the loose end. To do this, you need to go with your needle through the nearest beads in all possible directions as many times as you want. Once you're done, just cut off the end and repeat the same steps with the other one. The ring is all done now, and I am really happy with how it turned out. It's very soft and comfortable, you can hardly feel it on your finger, and the evenly aligned beads look very satisfying. You're very welcome to leave your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. I am always very happy to read your comments, and I try to answer all of them. Thank you for watching this video, and I will see you next time.